All right, let's talk about something that can feel like a huge hurdle when you're learning French. The verbs. Seriously, if you've ever felt totally lost in a sea of conjugation tables, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to crack the code.
You know that feeling, right? You look at all the French verbs, and it just seems like this massive, random mountain of rules you have to memorize. It's completely overwhelming. But what if I told you there's a system to it all? A logic hiding in plain sight?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build your conjugation toolkit, piece by piece. We'll give you a clear map so you can finally see the logic behind what looks like chaos.
So, where do we even begin? We start right at the foundation. These three verbs are your non-negotiables. I mean it. If you can master them, you can start having real conversations almost immediately.
First up, we have être, which means to be. And look, there's no secret trick to this one. It's completely irregular, which means it's a pure memorization job. Let's just run through it. Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. Just take a second and let that soak in.
So why is this verb so incredibly crucial? Well, think about it. It's how you define almost everything. It's for your identity, like je suis nigérienne. It's for your job, je suis designer. Or for describing something like elle est grande, meaning she is tall. It is absolutely fundamental. Okay, next up in our toolkit is avoir, to have. And yep, just like être, this one's a regular and a must-memorize verb. Here we go. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont.
Now, this is where avoir gets really interesting and kind of weird for us English speakers. It's not just for possession, like saying j'ai un frère. The French use it for all sorts of things where we'd use to be, like being hungry. In French, you don't are hungry, you literally have hunger, j'ai faim.
And that brings us to the number one most common mistake that beginners make. In French, you don't are your age, you have it. So you would never ever say je suis 20 ans. Nope. The correct way is always j'ai 20 ans. You gotta burn that one into your brain.
And rounding out our big three is aller, to go. And you guessed it, it's irregular. Just look at it. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Then suddenly, nous allons, vous allez, and back to ils vont. You can see how the beginning just completely flips around.
Getting aller down is a huge unlock. I mean, of course, you use it for movement. Je vais à l'école, I'm going to school, but its real superpower is creating the near future tense. All you do is put another verb right after it, like je vais étudier, and you're talking about your future plans. I am going to study. So simple, yet so powerful.
Okay, you've got the big three in your toolkit. Now get ready for a major breakthrough. This is where you learn one single rule that unlocks the biggest, most common group of verbs in the entire French language. I'm not kidding.
For all the regular verbs that end in er, like parler, to speak, or aimer, to love, it's a simple, beautiful two-step formula. You just chop off the er from the end, and then you add a new ending depending on who's doing the action. That's literally it.
And here they are, the magic endings. For je, you add an e. For tu, an s. For il or elle, another e. Then for the plurals, nous gets ons, vous gets ez, and ils or elles gets ent. But here's a super important pronunciation tip. Those first three endings, and the very last one, are almost always silent, so they can sound exactly the same even though they're spelled differently.
Now you're going to see a few minor spelling tweaks here and there, but please don't think of these as new rules. They're not. They're just tiny adjustments to keep the pronunciation consistent. For a verb like manger, you have to add an e before the os ending, just to keep the g sound soft. They're just little fixes, not big exceptions to the pattern.
All right, ready to level up? We're moving on to IR verbs. Now, these can seem tricky, but I don't want you to think of them as a whole new set of rules to memorize. Instead, think of them as a code we're about to crack. And trust me, we're going to find the key.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. Not all IR verbs are created equal. There are really two main families. First, you have the predictable, regular ones like finir. And then you have the irregular ones, which, well, they follow a fascinating little secret code.
So let's start with the regular pattern. For verbs like finir, you drop the IR and add the endings. But notice the key feature right here. For the plural forms nous, vous, and ils, elles, this extra is sound appears out of nowhere. Fin isons, fin ise. This little sound is the unique signature of this group.
And now, my friends, for the real cheat code, there's this special group of irregular IR verbs that I call the COCO's verbs. This includes verbs like courir, to run, ouvrir, to open, and offrir, to offer. And here's the secret. They might look like IR verbs, but they actually behave like regular old ER verbs.
And this right here, this is the aha moment. Just look at it. On the left, those are the ER endings we just learned. On the right, those are the endings for a COCO's verb like offrir. They're almost identical. J'offre, tu offres, il offre. It's the exact same pattern. You already know how to conjugate these verbs without learning any new rules.
Okay, let's put it all together on one screen. This quick summary of the nous form shows you the main patterns. You've got the simple ens for regular ER verbs like parlant. You've got that unique issos for regular IR verbs like finissant. Then you see our little secret agent verb, offrant, acting just like an ER verb. And finally, you have the truly irregular ones, like partant, that are just off doing their own thing.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so you might be wondering, what should I actually focus on right now as a beginner? Well, let's distill all of this into a clear, totally stress-free action plan. Here it is. This is your A1 focus list. Number 1, memorize the big three: être, avoir, and aller. Just get them down cold. Number 2, master that single pattern for all regular ER verbs. Number 3, learn the regular finner pattern and keep an eye out for that is sound. And 4th, just get comfortable with those key COCOS verbs like ouvrir, offrir, and courir. That right there is your core foundation. So there you have it. You've got the map, you have the secret codes. That whole system is no longer a mystery. So the only question left is, now that you can see the path, which piece of this puzzle are you going to conquer first?